you all very much. Thank you. Well, it's great to be with you, and congratulations on what each of you have done to make this a successful weekend. I've been given 10 minutes. I thought, what is the most important thing we could communicate during that time? And I want to share this. That is, we are at a fork in the road in which you play a very major part. The choices are between socialism and free market capitalism. And so in the course of that, let us just briefly explain the distinction and difference, because you must convince your fellow students and friends as to how important that decision is. Let's set the field. Half of all the people on earth live on less than $2 a day. Half of those live on less than $1 a day. The second richest spot on earth is Western Europe, France, Germany, Britain. In America, we have a low level below which we will not permit a person to sink. You come to this country, sit down on a park bench, wave your foreign flag, gripe and complain about the country. We will bury you with stamps for food, a roof over your head, a bed to sleep in, unlimited health care for you and anybody you've ever met. A person living in poverty in America. Heritage study, Rector, done by the Wall Street Journal every year for the last 37 years. A person living in poverty in America is more likely to have a telephone, a television, an air conditioner, an automobile, eats more meat, has more square footage space than the average resident of the second richest spot on earth, Western Europe. The question would be, why? For thousands of years, people had hoped to someday fly. It was the Americans that invented the airplane and the light bulb and the telegraph, put men on the moon. Every year, this 4% of the population of the world that call themselves Americans produce more books, more plays, more symphonies, more copyrights, more inventions than the other 96% combined. All over the world, there are skyscrapers. Why? Because an American named Elisha Otis invented the elevator. And there are places where it's 100 to 125 degrees. Why? Because a wonderful American named Willis Carrier invented the air conditioner. And this nation has blessed the world as no other nation has. When a ship is attacked on the high seas, as happened over 300 times last year, to whom can they appeal? The 327,000 Americans that wear the uniform of the United States Navy. This nation is the standard for righteousness in the world. And America is under attack not because it's evil. America is under attack because it's good. It has blessed the world as no other nation has. When a tsunami hits the largest Muslim nation on earth, fourth largest in Indonesia, the place where Barack Obama grew up, to whom do they look for aid? They look to Christian America. A little girl in Warsaw loses her puppy dog. She has a collar with a chip in it. She can go on her iPhone, go on the internet, and through the GPS identify exactly where her puppy dog is. All of it, conceived, invented, and maintained by Americans. So, this nation has blessed the world, and we have those that want to change it. And they don't know how America became what it is. And so they talk about redistributing wealth. That's all they ever talk about. They do not know, socialists do not know how wealth is created. So they run for office saying that I'm going to redistribute wealth. That's the most important thing we can discuss. How is wealth created? There's a car going down the highway out here. There are only two ways I can get money out of that person's pocket. One of them is called free enterprise. Now, free enterprise is where I lay awake nights figuring out ways how to do something good for the person, such that they'll slam on the brakes and pull in and say, you're going to wash my car and clean the windows and sweep the carpeting. And boy, I would much rather have that than have this $10 bill. I'd much rather have those shoes than this $60. A global positioning, I'll never get lost again. I'd much rather have that than have this $200. Under free enterprise, we dream up ways to bless other people such that they will voluntarily reach in their pocket and purchase something that is more valuable to them than the money that they have. And when they make that exchange, they are both better off. They have created wealth, and if they're not better off, they don't make the exchange. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the only way that wealth is created. Let's hit it again. Farmer has a pile of wheat. baker has 10 empty ovens. He said, if I had his wheat, I could bake donuts and sell them in the morning. The farmer says, I don't need all this wheat. If I had his money, I could hire 2 more people to go to work on another extra 100 acres, and I could buy a new tractor. And so the 2 of them make an exchange where they are both better off. They have created wealth. That is called free enterprise. Now, I said there are 2 ways to get money out of that person's car. The other is called coercion. And coercion is where I just go and I take it. So I walk up, I put the gun in the window, and I say, I want 50% of everything in your purse. Now, have I transferred wealth? Yes. Have I redistributed wealth? Yes. Have I created wealth? No. The degree to which one person is advantaged to the other, the degree to which the other person is disadvantaged. No wealth is created. Therefore, question, can a criminal create a job? No, because he's created no wealth. Let's don't call him a criminal. Let's call him a councilman. And if you drive through the city, the richest city on the planet in the history of mankind, when I was young, was a place called Detroit, Michigan. Not close, 18% richer than the number 2. It generated more wealth than any place. They elected people, said, we can put a stop to this. And so they elected folks that said, we're going to take from people. And so, currently, Detroit, the poorest city north of the Rio Grande, people then flee when people come, and what did they do? They took money from those that produced. They had a lower standard of living, and they created poverty. Socialism always creates poverty. I'm running out of time. I got to go so fast. I don't know how we're going to do this. Let's do it quickly. We're going to do this. For those that are audio, you just heard what I said. Now we're going to go to the visual. This is, you'll remember this the rest of your life. This is who you should vote for, and this is what all of your friends should understand. Let us suppose that this represents 100% of your income or the income of any city or any state or any nation. Let us suppose that it represents a $100 bill. And you go to Walmart, and the most expensive thing in the store is $99. That means that you are completely free to choose anything in the store. Let us suppose that someone comes along and takes 25% of it away from you. What happens? 2 things. Number 1, you have fewer choices. There's some things you can no longer choose. Thomas Jefferson said freedom is having choices. The more choices I take away from you, the less freedom you have. Anybody who's ever been a teenager has had this debate with their parents. So also, the more money I take away from you, the lower the standard of living. Now, that makes common sense unless you're with the New York Times, and then that would be a profundity. But you understand that suppose someone took away half of it. What happens? Even fewer choices, even lower standard. Suppose someone takes 75, leaves you with. Suppose someone comes along and takes it all. What do we call a person who works all day and keeps absolutely nothing? That person is called a slave. Now, there are only 2 people that can come and take money away from you. One is called a criminal. He has a gun and can take money away from you. The other is called the government, has a gun and can take money away from you. And here's the point. The impact is the same. You go to the pay window, you walk across the parking lot, the fella comes up, puts a gun in your ribs, said, I want 50% of everything you have. You go home, sit home with your wife and children. This is how much money that we have for food, clothing, and shelter, for vacations. Or you make it all the way to your truck and you open it up, Uncle Sam's already been here. The money's all. The impact is the same. So here's the principle. The more money that any city or state takes, the poorer they become. You can make any rich place poor or any poor place rich, based upon the degree of freedom or slavery. When I was in the state legislature in Ohio, we were number 1 in new job creation. We elected a governor and said we can put a stop to this. And so when the current governor took over, we were 49th out of the 50 states. You can make any rich place, make any poor place rich by understanding this very simple principle. The greater the freedom, the greater the wealth, the greater the government, the greater the poverty. Now, I'm rounding third, heading for home. And I actually supposed to have 4 more minutes, so here we go. Listen real fast, and I'll do it. Why does socialism not work? Why can it never work? But they're so compassionate. They say they mean well. No. The reason it doesn't work is this. If you're going to buy something for yourself, you care about 2 things. You care about price and quality. And nobody can make that decision as well as you can. You might pay $4 for a cup of coffee at 7 in the morning, for which you wouldn't pay 35 cents at 4:30 in the afternoon. When it's your money buying something for yourself, you use the maximum benefit of price and quality, and nobody can surpass that. Let us suppose that one of those two things is not controlled by you. Let us say you're going to buy something for someone else, but you're not going to consume it. And so, do you care about the price? Yes, because you're paying for it. But you're a little more flexible on the quality. By the time it breaks, they'll be married for 3 years. They'll forget who gave it to them anyway. This will be fine. We've all bought things for people we never would have bought for ourselves. We've all received things as gifts. Do we care about the price? Yes. The quality? Not so much. Let us suppose we're going to consume it, but we're not going to pay for it. Do we care about the quality? Yes. Do we care about the price? Not so much. So the waitress comes by and says, would you like to have some orange juice? And you say, well, how much is it? And she says, well, it's $3.50 a glass. You say, well, no, I'm fine. I really don't need that. He said, oh, you got the pancakes. Well, it comes with the pancakes. Well, in that case, I'll take 3 glasses, pour away. You might leave half a glass if you didn't have to. Do you care about the quality? Yes, because you're consuming it, but you're not concerned about the price. And by the way, if I am ever invited back again, we're going to discuss the health care, and it fits right in there as to why it's fouled up and how you fix it. But final point is this. Let us suppose that where you work, the boss says to you, look, we're having a sales meeting at the end of the day. We're going to have a raffle, and here's $150. Go buy something, we're going to raffle it off at the end of the day. And so you're at lunch, you go over and you look over, and there in the store window is a 6-foot-tall stuffed frog. And you go to check the price, $149. Oh, this is great. And so you buy the frog, come over, put it in the closet. At the end of the day, they have the raffle. Who wins? Sally wins. What does she win? Open the door. 6-foot-tall frog. Everybody laughs and claps. Oh, this is so wonderful. They go out in the parking lot. She drives away. People are cheering. What is that called? That is called a third-party purchase. That's made with money that's not yours. Therefore, you don't care about the price. It had been $100, you would have spent that. $200, you would have spent that. To purchase something you're not going to personally consume, therefore, you don't care about the quality. Now, when they say that you're going to say something profound, you're supposed to pause for emphasis. I'm now going to pause for emphasis. Because what I'm about to say is not Democrat, Republican, liberal, Democrat, Christian, Democrat, labor. This is just the facts, Jack. All government purchases are third-party purchases, made with money that's not theirs to purchase things that will not personally consume. Therefore, will it be wasted in the highway department? You betcha. Will it be wasted in the defense department? You can count on it. That's why we believe, as Abraham Lincoln said, the government should do only those things which a man cannot do better for himself. Why? Because every time we use a dollar to save and invest and use to the maximum benefit and run it through a third-party system called government, we're in the process of making the nation poorer. And you show me what percentage of the GDP of any city or state or a nation, and the principle applies. The greater the freedom, the greater the wealth, the greater the government, the greater the poverty. And with that, America stands at a crossroads. Let me conclude by this observation. I, ladies and gentlemen, have never been more optimistic in my life. We are on the threshold. We are number 1 in oil and natural gas and barely second in the world in coal. I've said for years and years and years, this nation could be energy independent anytime we got a leader that wanted to be. 13 months after Donald Trump became president of the United States became energy independent. We are now the number 1 producer of oil and gas in the world, and we're setting money around. For the last 3 generations, we've been creating jobs. We've been losing manufacturing jobs. Everybody said, what can he do about it? Within a year, not only did he arrest that, but we are now creating hundreds of thousands of new jobs. The stock market in America is up a fourth. It's grown a fourth of what it did throughout its entire history. The stock market in China is down by a third. We are leaving them in the dust. This is the most optimistic potential time for America to make a turn in which years from now, people will look back to this generation, look back to you and this decision, and call it blessed. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.